The galaxy had many strange worlds. Some burned under twin suns. Some were frozen for 1,000,000 years. Others were covered in oceans deeper than mountains. But there was one planet the Council of Worlds could never accept: Earth. For centuries, alien scientists argued that Earth's biosphere was impossible. The numbers did not make sense. Its atmosphere was unstable, mixed with gases that should have poisoned intelligent life. Its oceans boiled with storms and salt, yet countless species thrived in them. Its land cracked with earthquakes, burned with volcanoes, and drowned in floods. And still, life never stopped. In their reports, the scientists wrote one sentence again and again: Earth should not exist. The council chambers often echoed with laughter whenever the name of the blue planet appeared in discussion. Alien scholars claimed the humans were liars, showing fake records of their world to gain respect in the stars. No creature could grow strong in such chaos, they said. It is a fraud, a myth invented by a desperate species. But one young alien did not laugh. His name was Kale, a researcher from a small academic world. Unlike the elders, Kale was curious. He read every report about Earth. He studied the images humans shared: forests, deserts, snowy mountains, endless seas. And deep inside, Kale felt something he could not explain. They are not lying, he whispered to himself one night. They are hiding something greater. When the council announced a new hearing to expose Earth's false claims, Kale made a decision. He would not sit in the chamber and listen to empty words. He would see Earth with his own eyes. And so, against the advice of his mentors, Kale traveled secretly to the Sol system. The journey was long. His ship passed barren moons, silent stations, and lonely trade routes. But when Earth finally appeared through the view window, Kale froze. The planet was alive. Swirls of white storms twisted across blue oceans. Green continents stretched like painted jewels across the sphere. Lightning flashed in the clouds, yet below, forests grew thick and proud. No simulation, no model, no scientist's theory could explain what Kale was seeing. He landed quietly, far from human cities, in the heart of a rainforest. The air was heavy, wet with water and thick with invisible life. Strange cries echoed through the trees. Insects with wings of glass buzzed around him. Roots broke through the soil like veins of a living creature. Kale's skin shivered. His people were used to calm and gentle worlds. But here, the ground itself seemed to breathe. Every step revealed something dangerous: poisonous plants, sharp stones, crawling predators. Yet the forest did not collapse. It thrived. This world, Kale whispered, staring at the towering trees. This world should be dead. He recorded every detail and sent silent notes to himself. He saw rivers that flooded without warning but still carried fish by the millions. He watched storms tear apart the sky, only for the forest to rise again the next morning. He realized Earth was not a fragile planet, it was a battlefield where only the strongest survived. And humanity? They were the children of this battlefield. Days later, Kale walked near a human settlement. He watched from a distance as farmers worked in soil cracked by the sun. Despite the heat, the people sang while planting crops. At night, when rainstorms drowned the land, the same people laughed around fires, as if the chaos was nothing. Kale's mind raced. Other species would have died within days in such extremes. But humans lived, worked, and even smiled in the middle of destruction. Back in the council, leaders prepared to declare Earth a fraud before the galaxy. But Kale now knew the truth. Earth was no fraud. It was the greatest paradox in the stars. One evening, standing on a hilltop, Kale gazed at the human city glowing in the distance. His voice trembled as he spoke into his recorder. The council believes Earth should not exist. They call it impossible. But I have walked its forests. I have felt its storms. This world does not only exist, it thrives in ways our science cannot understand. And if this is what shapes humanity, then the galaxy does not know what it is facing. Lightning cracked across the sky, throwing shadows over the land. The storm roared, but beneath it, the city lights never went dark. Humanity endured, as always. Kale knew one thing: when the truth reached the stars, the laughter in the council would turn to silence. Because Earth was not impossible. It was unstoppable. The council chamber was filled with noise. Thousands of voices echoed through the vast hall, each one louder than the other. Holograms floated above the center platform, showing images of Earth. Blue oceans. Green forests, white storms circling the planet like furious guards. But the council did not see beauty. They saw fraud. A tall elder of the Vikri race slammed his staff against the floor. This planet is a lie. Their records are forged. Their storms are illusions. No world can survive such chaos. Humanity only seeks attention. The chamber roared with agreement. Many species laughed. Others whispered insults. For decades, Earth had been the joke of the stars, a world that claimed to live where no life should. The decision seemed simple. The council would expose the fraud, strip Earth of its trade rights, and silence the humans forever. But the humans had prepared. Instead of arguing, they sent an invitation. They opened their skies. They told the galaxy, "Come and see for yourself." It was a bold move. The council could not refuse. If they did, whispers would rise that maybe the humans were telling the truth. And so, a fleet of observation ships was sent to Earth, filled with scientists, generals, and ambassadors. When the ships entered Earth's orbit, silence filled the council's private channels. The planet below looked nothing like a forgery. From orbit, they saw oceans rising and falling with storms the size of continents. They saw deserts burning in the sun, yet rivers cutting through them with life. They saw frozen poles shining like crystal, still crawling with creatures. One ambassador muttered, "If this is a trick, it is beyond any technology we know." The observers descended. On the surface, the galaxy's pride turned into fear. They landed in the middle of a hurricane zone. The winds screamed. Lightning tore the sky. The alien scientists expected to see destruction, shattered houses, lifeless ground. Instead, they saw humans. Families tying roofs with metal cables. Farmers protecting their crops with clever barriers. Children laughing as the rain fell around them. The aliens were stunned. Their instruments told them this storm could kill most species in minutes. Yet the humans lived in it as if it was nothing more than a passing inconvenience. Next, the observers traveled to the mountains. There they found villages clinging to cliffs where earthquakes were common. The ground shook violently, splitting stone like paper. Yet humans rebuilt every time, faster and stronger. "This is not natural," whispered a scientist. "They should be extinct." But Earth was not finished showing them its truth. In the jungles, the visitors found venomous creatures, predators with teeth like blades, plants that poisoned the air. And still, humans walked the paths without fear. They carried weapons of fire and stone, hunting the hunters. They burned the poisoned plants and planted food instead. It was madness. It was impossible. And it was real. The council observers returned to orbit with their data. They expected to disprove the humans. Instead, their evidence only made the galaxy tremble. Earth's chaos was not killing life, it was making it stronger. Every storm, every disaster, every danger was a forge, and humanity was the steel that came out of it. The reports spread quickly. Soldiers on distant worlds began whispering. Traders told stories in secret. If Earth thrives in such death, what kind of warriors has it made? One general of the Cathari fleet spoke the thought many feared to voice. If they can survive their world, they can survive anywhere. The council tried to control the information. They ordered silence. But it was too late. Fear had already escaped into the stars. Back on Earth, humans watched the reaction with calm faces. They did not boast. They did not laugh. They simply continued living, surviving storms, rebuilding cities, and planting crops in impossible soil. But the galaxy had seen enough. What was once a joke had turned into a warning. In a dark chamber, an alien scientist whispered to her colleague, "We mocked them because we did not understand. But now I fear, we have awakened something we cannot control." And for the first time, the mighty council hesitated. Because the truth was clear. Earth was not weak. Earth was not fake. Earth was dangerous. And humanity, the children of this impossible world, was the greatest danger of all. The Council of Worlds was restless. Rumors about Earth spread like wildfire. Soldiers whispered. Traders shared stories. Scientists argued in secret. Everywhere, the same question rose again and again. How can life survive there? The council could not allow mystery to rule the stars. They needed proof that humans were liars, or proof that their survival was a trick of luck. And so, they made a decision. They would build a copy of Earth. On a distant colony world named Vera 9, engineers began their work. They shaped the air to match Earth's unstable atmosphere. They filled the oceans with salt and storms. They let the land crack with quakes and heat. They released predators in the wild and poisoned the rivers with minerals. It was not perfect, but it was close. The experiment began. Thousands of settlers from different alien species were moved onto the artificial Earth. Scientists promised it was safe. They said, if humans can thrive there, so can you. For the first few days, life seemed normal. Crops grew, houses stood, and the settlers laughed at human myths. But the world was waiting. The storms came first. Rain fell without stopping for 10 days, drowning the farmlands. Crops rotted in the fields. Families fled their homes as rivers swallowed the land. Next came the heat. The sun burned with fury. Wells dried. The settlers could not breathe in the heavy air. Their skin cracked. Animals they had brought for food collapsed and died. Then came the predators. Sharp-clawed beasts, hungry from the chaos, stalked the villages. The settlers had no defenses. Screams echoed across the night. Entire towns vanished in the darkness. By the third week, the colony was in ruins. The scientists tried to keep order. They told the settlers, "You must adapt. You must fight." But their voices shook with fear. Their instruments showed the truth: survival was not possible. Vera 9 was killing them. Messages of desperation reached the council. Crops gone. Cities burning. Families lost. Send rescue. Air too heavy. Cannot breathe. Too much poison. Predators everywhere. We are not safe. Please, help. The council finally admitted failure. They sent fleets to rescue the survivors. Only half of them lived. The rest were lost to storms, quakes, and monsters. When the news spread across the galaxy, the fear of Earth grew darker. The experiment had not revealed humans as liars. It had proven something worse: only humans could survive such a world. Alien soldiers whispered in their barracks. We could not last a month on a copy of Earth. But they lived there for thousands of years. Traders spoke in quiet tones at spaceports. They are not normal. They are born of fire and storm. What kills us makes them stronger. The council tried to hide the results, but the truth could not be buried. Too many had seen the dead. Too many had seen the destruction. The survivors told their stories everywhere. I saw rivers rise and sweep away whole towns. But humans walk through such floods every year. I felt the poison air burning my lungs. But for humans, it is nothing. I saw beasts with claws bigger than swords. Humans would have hunted them. The galaxy shivered. Meanwhile, on Earth, humanity watched the Council's failure. They did not gloat. They did not mock. But in secret halls, leaders of Earth spoke calmly. They copied our home, and their people died. Now they know the truth. The Council panicked. They feared what would come next. If humans were truly adapted to the impossible, then humanity was something the galaxy had never faced before. In a dark chamber, an old alien general whispered his fear. Earth is not a mistake of nature. It is a forge. It shapes survivors where no one else can live. And if they bring their survival into war, then no army can stop them. The experiment was supposed to prove Earth was a lie. Instead, it became a warning. Because the galaxy now knew, humanity was not only real. Humanity was built for the impossible. The council chamber had never been so quiet. For centuries, it was a place of arguments, mockery, and endless noise. But after the disaster on Vera 9, no one laughed anymore. Half the settlers were dead. Entire towns had vanished. And the truth was carved into the minds of every survivor: only humans could live in such chaos. The council wanted to ban Earth from trade. They wanted to cut humanity off before fear spread further. But even as they planned, something unexpected arrived. It was not a fleet of human warships. It was not a declaration of anger. It was a message. The humans invited the council leaders and ambassadors to Earth not to argue, not to threaten, but to show them something. The galaxy hesitated. Some thought it was a trap. Others thought it was foolishness. But curiosity was stronger than fear. And so, they came. The alien leaders landed on Earth, escorted to great halls filled with archives. No weapons, no soldiers, only knowledge. There, humanity revealed its silent answer. The visitors were shown images, ancient pictures of Earth's history. Not images of power, but of survival. They saw tribes walking across deserts with no water, carrying nothing but hope and determination. They saw villages building homes on mountains that shook with fire and stone. They saw ships crossing endless oceans, guided only by the stars, with storms crashing around them. They saw cities burned to ash by war, rebuilt again by hands that refused to stop working. They saw plagues that wiped out millions, yet the survivors stood and continued. One by one, the records played. Thousands of years of pain. Thousands of years of disasters. And yet, one constant truth: humans endured. A human leader finally stood before the council. His voice was calm, steady, and quiet. You want to know why Earth lives where others die? You want to know why your experiment failed? It is simple. We do not fear storms. We do not fear fire. We do not fear death itself. Every disaster that tried to kill us, made us stronger. The room was silent. The aliens stared at the images again. Earth was not one world. It was many. Desert, jungle, ocean, ice, storm all in one place. And humanity had learned to live in them all. One ambassador whispered to his colleague, "They are not adapted to one biosphere. They adapt to everything." The human leader's eyes scanned the room. He spoke again, his voice carrying weight heavier than weapons. "We did not ask to be forged in fire. We did not choose this path. But it is ours. And we will not apologize for surviving." For a long moment, no one moved. The council leaders felt something unfamiliar: shame. They had mocked humans as liars. They had called Earth a fraud. But now, with centuries of proof staring at them, they had no words. Outside, through the great windows, a storm rolled across the ocean. Lightning flashed. Thunder shook the air. Yet on the shores below, humans walked calmly, their homes strong against the winds. Children played in the rain. Farmers worked in the mud. Life continued as if the storm was nothing. The alien leaders stared in silence. This was no trick. No illusion. No forgery. It was truth. In the shadows of the council chamber, an alien general leaned toward his aide. His voice was low, trembling with fear. "If they can survive every world, if they can endure every death, then nowhere will be safe from them, if they choose to rise." The aide swallowed, unable to answer. Back in the archives, the human leader closed the presentation. His final words were simple. "You laughed when we said our world lived. You called us liars. But you have seen it now with your own eyes. Earth does not beg for your approval. Earth endures. And so do we." No threat was spoken. No weapon was raised. But the galaxy understood the meaning. Humanity had given their answer without fire, without war, only with truth. And in that truth, the council felt something far heavier than any weapon: fear. Because silence from humanity was not weakness. It was warning. The council tried to bury the truth. They locked away the reports from Vera 9. They erased the recordings of Earth's storms. They silenced the ambassadors who had seen humanity's archives. But the truth was a fire, and fire cannot be caged. Traders whispered the stories across the trade routes. Soldiers repeated them in the barracks. Scholars wrote secret notes and shared them in hidden forums. Everywhere, the same words spread. Earth is real. Humanity is forged in chaos. The galaxy listened. And the galaxy trembled. On mining worlds, workers spoke of humans farming deserts and freezing plains where no alien crop could grow. On military stations, generals studied records of humans fighting in toxic swamps, frozen tundras, and wastelands filled with radiation. On peaceful planets, citizens whispered that if humans could live anywhere, they could fight anywhere. The council lost control of the narrative. Fear had escaped. And then, humanity acted. Not with fleets. Not with war. But with one broadcast. Across the stars, every screen flickered. Every comm channel went silent. And then, a single human face appeared. A woman, calm, steady, her eyes unshaken. Her voice carried across the galaxy. "You said our world could not exist. You said we were liars. You said life could not endure what Earth gives us every day. And yet, here we stand." Behind her, the broadcast showed Earth. A storm tore across the ocean. Waves rose like mountains. Lightning cut the sky. And through the chaos, cities glowed with lights, unbroken. We do not ask for pity. We do not ask for permission. We are the children of this world. You tried to copy our home, and your people died. We live it every day. What you call impossible, is simply our life. The galaxy held its breath. The human's tone hardened, not loud, but sharp as steel. You mock us because you fear us. And you are right to fear. For we are the proof that the impossible lives. Every disaster that breaks others only makes us stronger. And if you doubt that, the image shifted. Records played ancient wars where humans rebuilt from ash. Plagues that killed millions, yet left survivors who carried on. Ice ages endured. Deserts conquered. Oceans crossed in fragile ships. Then remember this, we survived everything our world threw at us. And if need be, we will survive you. The message ended. The screens went dark. And the galaxy was silent. For the first time in centuries, no one laughed at Earth. No one mocked humanity. Instead, fear spread like a shadow across the stars. On warships, admirals whispered, if they fight like they survive, no army will hold against them. On colonies, settlers shivered, if they can thrive in storms and poison, what can stop them in battle? In the council itself, leaders sat pale and speechless. They had wanted to expose humanity as frauds. Instead, they had revealed a truth too dangerous to contain. The truth that shook the stars. Earth was not a mistake. It was a crucible. And humanity was its creation. Kale, the young alien researcher who had once traveled in secret to Earth, now watched the panic spread across his people. He remembered the forests breathing with life, the storms flashing with power, the humans smiling through disaster. He whispered to himself, I warned them. I told them Earth was no fraud. Now, they will all understand. The galaxy had mocked Earth. The galaxy had doubted humanity. But now, the galaxy feared them. And in the silence of that fear, one truth burned brighter than any star. Humanity had proven them wrong.